Go ahead.
Okay, so Facebook, we're here today. This is a patient and now kind of friend, right, Mike? And so he is graciously willing to share his story with us and his journey about his pain and some of the things that he's experienced for his pain, and now what he's experienced here in our office after about 6 visits. So I'm so excited. Thank you for sharing. So tell everyone kind of like where you started, kind of your worst moment.
Sure. Well, before I was diagnosed with sciatica, I would have lots of lower back pain radiating down my leg, my left leg, never the right, limping. One time on a couple times on crutches, sometimes a cane just to get up in the morning. You know, I couldn't even walk in the mornings when I got up. I couldn't get out of bed. So eventually I went to physical therapy. Well, I went to the doctor and they said, you have sciatica. They did a cortisone splash, is it? Where they go on the live x-ray and they went, nothing, no relief, nothing there.
So even like a steroid injection or cortisol injection didn't help.
Didn't help. Then they started talking about surgery. There's a lot of oral like meds and things like that, which weren't really helping. I mean, that's not the solution. And it just kept saying sciatica. So eventually I went to physical therapy. That did not do much for me the first time I went to physical therapy. And then I was referred to a doctor who I went to, and then he diagnosed muscle atrophy in my gluteal muscles on the left side.
Yeah, so and to explain that, basically what that is like a complete loss of tone in your muscle on the one side. So it truly appears like one, for lack of a better term, butt cheek is well formed in tone, and the other one is just kind of flat. And that's actually, I know that's a sign of long-term nerve damage, and that's a big problem.
Yes, I couldn't walk without a limp. I couldn't even think about running, and I could never walk without a limp.
And you have a very active past. You used to run all the time, right?
Right. Yeah, I ran the Army 10 miler 3 years in a row. It was last weekend, and you know, I think I'll get back there someday, but I'll be 53 next month, so I'm not a kid either. But
that's good to know too. So you're 53 next month, and when you came in, one of the questions I asked you at your new patient appointment, you probably know what I'm getting at, is if someone looked at you and didn't know how old you were, how old would you guess? Would they guess you were? And you're like 90.
Yeah, from the way I moved back then, from the way I was moving, and it wasn't just walking with a limp. It was, if I did feel relief from doing some of the things the second round of physical therapy gave me, I did find some relief, and I still do those exercises today.
Yeah.
But if I, even on turning, like coming into a door or anything like that, to turn, it would almost be like I'd pivot my body instead of just doing the natural stride of walking around a corner.
Mm-hmm.
So people at work are always like, he'll never get better, you know, he's always going to be like this. I'm still in the Army. And gimping around as a soldier,
which doesn't look good when you've got people under you and they're supposed to be respecting you. And
indeed, I'm telling them, you need to run, you need to take care of your body.
You're just crutching over to them.
Right, and I can't even do the 2 mile walk. So for the Army physical fitness test now, I have to do the 2 mile run. I have to do the 2.5 mile walk, and I have to do it pretty brisk. And you can never have both feet off the ground, so you've got to be walking. And I found limping and all that through that, it was very tough to make it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I barely scraped by. But since I saw you on Facebook, and I was like, you know, my doctor, he's a great doctor, but he's like, no, you know, you're not going to go to a chiropractor because I can treat you. I mean, that's just the natural thing for them, I think, is I can treat you.
Well, it's nothing personal. He might have had a bad experience. He might not know a great chiropractor. He might have his own hesitations. And I think they're taught, like, just say no to that, you know? So, oh well, tides will change.
Right. So
with each success story.
Indeed, and I'm a success story because I've come here, I think you said 6 times, about 6 times.
Yeah, it feels like longer, which is weird, but about 6 times.
And it's been incredible. So I knew after the first visit, first adjustment, and not just that, the things you told me about, because you taught me some things too. And I'm doing those things, nutritional things, and then later in the later visit, you taught me a couple things that they never showed me in physical therapy. After two rounds of physical therapy with some really good doctors of physical therapy, they didn't teach me those things that I do now every morning, also in the afternoon. Awesome. And so all that stuff not only has me walking without a limp, permanently, seemingly permanently.
Yeah.
People at work, my own daughters. I think I told you last time, I actually took a little trot, and they were like, blown away. Like, we haven't seen you run for a long time.
So people have been asking,
yeah,
right?
People have been saying, like, hey, your gait is better, your stride's better, you're not limping, you're moving faster, and again, instead of that pivot, that's one thing I really think is great too, is instead of that pivot, I'm walking around corners and taking take corners the way a 53-year-old should.
Right.
Not like an 83-year-old.
Really, more like a 43-year-old right now.
Right.
If you dare to dream.
Yeah, and I'm feeling far better, and I thank you for that.
Yeah. That's why I do it. So I'm truly glad. That's amazing.
Yeah, I recommend it for anybody to come in here, and learn a few things while you're getting great adjustments and great care.
For sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And if you are just wondering, can chiropractic help? Where do I start? Does insurance cover it? All these questions. Really, all you can do is come in and ask. And it's free to sit down and ask me questions, right? And so, yes, we accept most insurance. Yes, we're happy to help you understand. I think one of the biggest things I try to do is just get you on board with your care, right? Because 99% of the time, you're not here. You're on your own. And so there are things you can do, things you can learn, and then you come and get adjusted and you feel great. So what are we waiting for? Come on in and feel great. If you don't believe Mike, well, we're going to find everybody that has a good success story, and just stay tuned. We'll get them all up there. So, all right. Thanks so much.